Let's get to the hot read for week 15. Then we'll get out of here and we can say goodnight. What is your pick? I know you talked about or attempted to go with Seattle, which, by the way, I just saw the tweets from our coworkers giving you a hard time about Seattle Island. I'm chuckling and I also feel bad. It's kind of funny.
It's funny. It's funny. I didn't play it today. When I played it, I played live and I won money off of it. So you can make fun of Seattle Island all you want. We made a lot of money at the island and we might go there again on Thursday. It's not a hot read because, as you know, Brendan, the hot read is about grabbing the line before it moves. And the line is not going to move toward Seattle. It's not going to give us Seattle any problems here. We can get that line anytime we want this week. Because ain't nobody want to bet on Seattle Island this week against the hot 49ers. So we'll see if I talk myself into that one. Keep an eye on the app. The line I want to grab right now for the line move is, I teased this a little bit earlier. I don't buy this Panthers team. I'm going to Carolina and I'm taking the road Pittsburgh Steelers. I see a +2.5 out there. Give me the points because I liked this Steelers spot before the game. This was almost one of my look aheads, but I didn't know if Pittsburgh for sure would get the win against Baltimore. Those games are always tough. And here's the thing. After beating the Ravens, the week after that, the Steelers in our system are 6-12 against the spread. Mike Tomlin, after beating the Ravens, 4-11 ATS. After losing to the Ravens, which is what happened, 11-5 ATS. That's the big rivalry game. So either you have the letdown after you won, or you have the, oh, no, you didn't. We're getting this back after you lost. We got the after the loss effect now. I'm not going to call this a rah-rah Tomlin underdog spot. It's the Panthers. It's Sam Darnold. So let's not make too big of an underdog spot here out of this. Still an underdog, though. So the number is still there. 40-17 against the spread for Tomlin. Week 5 forward as an underdog. I did look into it, though. After losing in the division, and then being an underdog the following game, Tomlin is 6-0 lifetime against the spread, has won outright all 6 of those games. So you lose in the division, you're an underdog the next game. Mike Tomlin undefeated straight up and against the spread as an underdog. So I like the Steelers. The Panthers won today. Why? Because they were physical and they ran it right at you and said, hey, we're going to play big boy football and beat you. And Seattle putzed out and they couldn't do it. Guess who you can't do that against? The Steel Curtain. Ever in the history of football, can you play big boy football and punk the Steelers? It's not going to happen. Their defense is good. We've talked about the TJ Watt thing. The run D is good. That game plan, run the ball right up the middle and just try to hope they can't tackle us, not going to work against Pittsburgh. And I don't think Sam Darnold and Steve Wilkes have too many other answers. So I think Pittsburgh goes on the road. I'll take the win. I'll take the cover. We're going to hit our Steelers over next week in season when they get that win. It's all happening for us. Don't buy into the Panthers. I don't see it.
Do you care who the quarterback is for Pittsburgh?
I don't. That's a good question. In fact, I'll say this. Mitch Trubisky's honestly been pretty fine this season. Like he's been good. He's honestly been better than Kenny Pickett. So I don't know that I even make that too much of a downgrade. I should have mentioned that because you're right to ask it. But I think that the question mark there is maybe buying us a little bit of value as well. I feel okay. Trubisky was quite good today. He had 3 interceptions. Those are not good. Those are very bad plays. But all the other plays, they move the ball pretty well. The passing game has been honestly better when Trubisky was under center this year. Like when they made that switch, I thought it was a bit, like that was, we're going to pick it eventually anyways. Let's just do it. But I don't know that was a performance-based thing. He's been good. He's good for Buffalo last year. He's been pretty solid for them. The receivers are good. I don't really mind. I feel pretty good with either quarterback. I mean, the quarterback is not why I'm picking them. So right. I'm not really too worried about it either way.
I figured your analysis sort of pointed to that, but had to ask. And Mike Tomlin did say post-game that Kenny Pickett is in the concussion protocol. Left it at that. That was about it. So
yeah, I will say I would expect Trubisky. That I am taking this pick assuming Trubisky. And honestly, again, that makes me like it a little better because I think that opens up the game a little more. And Trubisky's processing has been a little faster than Pickett's as well.
All right, that's going to do it. We'll get you out of here, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Week 14 NFL recap episode. We are presented by FanDuel, the Action Network podcast. For David Payne, our producer, Brandon Anderson, Jill Gallant will join us next week. You'll have those two guys, Brandon and Jill. I'll be out in Vegas for Patriots and Raiders. Maybe I'll chime into the show at some point. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I might be preoccupied. The game got moved. It got flexed out of Sunday Night Football, so that's nice. But I'll be in the air.
Take your blanket with you out to Vegas in case you need to get onto the podcast.
A blanket would be nice for a comfortable flight home, but I'll give that some thought. Want to remind all of you, if you like to bet on basketball, we've got the NBA and college basketball, those sports covered for you at Action Network. Go to Buckets, dropping episodes every weekday for the NBA, every weekday, the Buckets podcast. Then you have Big Bets on Campus, college basketball coverage every Wednesday. You also have BBOC doing bowl previews for college football, so keep an eye out on those. You can find those podcasts wherever you get your podcasts. And as for the Action Network podcast, which we are, tune in Wednesday mornings for Chris Raybon and Sean Kerner's Player Projections episode. Thursday mornings, Raybon and Stuckey, their NFL betting preview featuring the Sunday six-pack. And then Friday mornings, myself, Brandon, Jill, and Luke Swain, Vegas Refund. We come to you with the Best Bets episode. Looking forward to that. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. Good night. Thanks for listening to the Action Network podcast presented by FanDuel.